big times. We had Nick Diaz, we
Yeah.
had Kimbo, we had, God dang, we had Ken Shamrock was in there for, I think at the end. Geez, Robbie Lawler was in there. We had, shoot, everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. It was crazy. And I really liked fighting for them because they let us have like personality, you know. And so like Crazy Horse he was on there, and man, everybody they just loved us to be us. So, you know, that's one thing I really loved about them.
Oh yeah, no kidding. It's funny you mentioned that because I was actually looking last night. I stumbled across your little interview you did with Ariel, you know, back before that Gina Carano fight, and when you were saying that, yeah, you know, she wants me, you know, I got a girlfriend though, sorry.
Yeah, it's all kind of crazy stuff.
Very animated about it, but
yeah, a lot of people hate. They just give me shit because I say ridiculous stuff, but you know, I say ridiculous.
Makes
stuff.
It fun.
And I know it ain't true, and I know I don't believe it, but at the end of the day, you know, it's a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, when you were going into that fight, though, obviously Gina, you know, had that name, like I said, and of course she wasn't like super huge at that time, but was in the middle of building, and as were you. But did it feel exposure wise? Because, like I said, Ariel, of course, he wasn't as big back then either. But talking to these forms of media,
that was funny. Yeah, he wasn't. He was just. That was when I first started seeing him come around, and he was like at all the fights and stuff. And doing some stuff, so that was cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That was a long time ago. Thinking about all that shit.
Right.
They let me. EliteXC actually let me do the post-fight interviews, and I remember them coming in, and they're like, "Hey, you know, we'll either pay you or we'll give you some bunch of seats or whatever." So I just got a whole bunch of front row seats for all my friends, and they're like, "Yeah, we're just gonna have you do all the post-fight interviews. You can talk about whatever you want with all the fighters, but the main event, the co-main event, you need to talk about the fight." And I know it was Robbie Lawler and somebody else. I can't remember who he fought, but it was good fights. And they're like, you have to talk about the fights during that. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, I know those guys.
Yeah.
And so they give me this pamphlet that has all the fighters, and it was like kind of a rundown of the fighters, like what they've done their last few fights, what they're good at, blah, blah, blah. Maybe something about their social media, which wasn't big back then, but it was getting there. And kind of, you know, what you would give to the side guys doing the talking, you know, the commentators or whatever. It was kind of something like that. And after the first fight, and I remember getting that, and I was like, holy shit, I don't know half these dudes on this card. I've never even heard of them. And they come in, they're like, I'll be okay if you came in kind of drunk. You can go have sake or whatever. I'm like, all right. And so I already knew where this was going. And then as soon as I got to the arena, they took me in this VIP room, and they're like, hey, they told the bartender, like, she gets everything she wants for free. Give her whatever alcohol she wants. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is going to get crazy. And so after the first fight, I had lost that binder. I mean, I was looking through it, and I was like, remember the record, trying to remember their names. But I had to kind of remember both of them because I didn't know who I was going to have to interview. Yeah. And after the first fight, I had lost the damn binder. And I was like, oh, shit. So every interview was ridiculous. And thank God I knew, obviously, who the co-main and main event were. Those guys have been fighting for a long time. So, and most of those guys I knew, so it was no big deal there. But my interviews were out of control. And they actually put some of them up on YouTube for a while, and then they ended up taking them down. But they were pretty gnarly.
I was gonna say, I'd love to see those if they're still around.
Yeah, no, they cut a couple of them out because I said some really ridiculous stuff. But they put them up at first, and we had a lot of views and stuff. I wish I'd got copies of them, but I figured they would stay there forever.
That's amazing.
I think when the company, I guess, what they sell to somebody else or whatever, I don't know. Whatever happened, I think they took all the stuff down and then kind of reevaluated putting whatever up.
Yeah, it's so trippy to kind of look back on that and how much kind of freedom and fun you were allowed, obviously. And you look at how the UFC, for example, is just completely, you know, mainstream ESPN and all the professional side of things. It's like it was kind of more fun back then, right?
Yeah, and now it's crazy. You see UFC cutting everybody for stupid as shit, but then they got guys that are out there doing stupid shit, and because they're favorites or Dana likes them, then he jumps on the bandwagon of their stupid shit. So I don't know. It's just really favoritism all around, and that side of things now, and it sucks.
Yeah, definitely is what it is, unfortunately. But
it ain't gonna change. It's not changing anytime soon.
I mean, maybe when he leaves, right? We'll see if that happens.
I don't think that'll ever happen. He's got such an easy ride right now. You just got to sit there and do the same thing, pull fighters and go to events and be a public face and get paid millions and millions of dollars.
Yep, what a life! What a life. But, it's really crazy to look back on, kind of, the Cyborg fight, and did that feel insulting to you to have getting your UFC debut, that thing that at that time, I remember when you were on your run, which was hard not to know about if you really watched MMA. You don't not even have to be a hardcore fan. I think, you were making that much noise. And I remember it was pretty much every time you fought, it was like, all right, is this her last fight in Invicta? Because, she should be in the UFC. Clearly, she's a top 10 fighter worldwide.
Yeah,
exactly.
Them, they'd be backstage. I'm like, of course you're going to sign them.
Right. Yeah. So, like,
I don't know how many people I fought probably in Invicta that was already getting paid by UFC when they fought me in Invicta. So, it's just a weird situation, but I'm not a favorite, and and they don't like me for some reason, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a good wingman. They should like me.
Right. Do you think you still would have ended up getting signed if Megan actually would have ended up fighting her? Because that was,
No.
what it was supposed to be.
No, absolutely not. I don't think they would have gave me that opportunity at all.
It's so weird. Just the whole featherweight thing in the UFC has driven me crazy ever since it started.
To get rid of me too. They're like, God dang, this girl's a big payday. She's been here for her entire life, and
she's kissing Laura Sanko.
Her contract is getting so big, we need her out of here. Take her, UFC. You know what I mean? I'm
right.
Sure. But whatever. I feel like I feel like I did good in Invicta. I felt good. I fought good. My promoting was good. Like, my fan base was good. I sold them arenas out pretty good, in Kansas City. And, I just think that I did really well over there. Everything just lined up, so.
Yeah. Yeah. I mentioned the Yana fights that you had, and I kind of wanted to ask about those because obviously the first one was a very weird situation, one of the weirder ones maybe in Invicta history, at least. But
definitely.
What do you remember about that time and kind of the nonsense that happened there? And then, of course, a great rematch, and you got the win in that one. But
yeah,
you and Yana had some interesting fights.
We were definitely on our way to whooping Yana's ass right then. But, that ref still hates my guts today over that. But sports got to evolve too, You see a lot of things nowadays. Even with my training, one of my training partners just fought, Nico Price just fought in UFC.
Okay, yeah. And
the guy did a backflip and stomped on his head. Well, the ref didn't even say nothing. Like, everybody's over the backflip. Well, it's
illegal.
You just stomped on his fucking head. Yeah, you just stomped on his head, and the ref didn't even say anything. People it's like watching referees that don't have to get trained, judges that don't have to get trained or get any kind of training, but us as fighters. We have to abide by rules. We have to get licensed. We have to get tested. We have to do all these things. If we break any rules, we get suspended. We get fined. We get punished to the fullest. But guys that are out there judging and stopping and taking care of our careers and our livelihoods are just anybody who's anybody, because they've been working for the athletic commission and this and that. They never fought a day in their life, or they're boxing commission guys, or they're ex-wrestlers, and they don't understand the whole sport, or they're really biased one way or the other, or they don't necessarily know what they're looking at because they're also just watching the fight, so I think it's a real situation that needs to change. And obviously I do like, seeing what's going on, like with Invicta, where they're doing the live scoring. I think that's amazing. I think the sport needs to go there, because even your coaches don't even know what the hell's going on half the time, and it ain't nobody's fault. It's crazy. Every other sport, I can look on the scoreboard and see the score as the game's going on, but not anymore. It just makes no sense. I got to be able to know how to tell my fighter to change or this or that, or okay, obviously what we're doing, the judges aren't seeing as winning or this or that. You got to be able to adjust in the fight, and not just what you see, but what's really going on outside of the bubble that you don't see. So I think Invicta's a step ahead of everybody right then. So
yeah. Why do you think it is that they we never started with that, because open scoring, that obviously, it seems like a no-brainer, when you compare it to all the other sports and everything, but
Yeah.
why didn't we start with that?
I don't know. I just think we're just running off of boxing, and
Right.
it's such a secret too. Like, it's such a secret. I've been in fights where they're taking the card from here to there, and we're trying to look over people's shoulder to see it, or they're trying to hide it running through the cage. Like, dude, why is it such a damn secret? Like, and before they wouldn't tell you what judge scored what because they don't want you mad at the judges. Well, what? You guys are judges.
Yeah.
We all know that y'all judged it, and it's based off of your opinion. So, and a referee in a wrestling match, I go out there. I've refereed college matches and stuff, and I have to be able to handle the coaches running in my face and being mad or protesting this and that right then when I make a call. And at the end of the day, I have to stick with my calls. I can't back and forth because, well, it's kind of intimidating that he's yelling at me or it's mad at me. You know what I mean? I got to stick to what I think and what I know is right and go by my opinion. That's what it's all about. So, but man, the open scoring, that's the way to go. That is definitely the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's pretty nice. And the counter argument that I've seen against it is
live
like
scoring. Is that what's called, live scoring?
Open live, either one. But, yeah, the counter argument I've seen for it is like, oh, well, it takes away the suspense of what's happening. Well, I don't know about that, because there's still the last round, and somebody's either going to go
try
for
my
it.
ass off if I know I got to only make 2 more fucking goals, or I know I'm down. I know I'm down 2 rounds and I only got 1 round. I'm gonna try to knock this fool's head off. Like, I'm gonna try to knock him out, or I'm gonna squeeze through because my coaches have been telling me I'm winning every round. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
What suspense?
Yeah,
the suspense is somebody staying awake. That's the suspense, man.
Exactly.
We're already out there fighting for money, and it's also bullshit. We're fighting for a show and a win purse. We should be fighting for flat rate fees. We're both out there fighting. I understand you dangling the little cheese in front of us, but that's what bonuses are for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about that. So hopefully the open scoring gets incorporated in more places than just Invicta and wherever, but we'll see how that goes. Until then, Tonya, you said that you are looking to get back in there at some point. How close have you been to, I don't know, maybe joining somebody, just getting a fight again?
Everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got a promotion and you need some females, and I'm ready to fight, and I don't care who I fight. I've talked to everybody. I've talked to Bellator. I've tried to talk to PFL. They're just too hard to get a hold of, or they just don't care to talk to anybody. I've talked to Shannon. I've talked to promotions out of the country that are really big, and I get a lot of the same, we don't have girls that are as good as you in our promotion. Well, a lot of people don't until you put girls that are that good in there, and then you start signing more girls the next thing. And I just don't understand how people don't want more females. I think that it's big right now. I think that the girls are really doing a great job of still in the show. Obviously we're never going to beat out men's sports. That's just never going to happen. But it's exciting, and people are excited about it, and it's more acceptable. And I think that there's a lot of fans out there that want to see it, and they're missing the boat by not putting us on. And I don't know. But
have you found it difficult as a bantamweight? Because if you look at it, it's like there's not actually too many promotions outside of like UFC and Invicta that have bantamweights. Correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I see, it's like the division's kind of closed off a little bit.
I think that UFC has stole all the talent.
Yeah.
But I also think that UFC is going to be sifting through them and getting rid of them, whether they're holding them back right now. I can't see why anybody would want to stay with the promotion when they're not fighting and they're just sitting on the sidelines. I'd eventually want to fight or be out of my contract. And the more opportunities that people have out there, whether they're full or not, if you have a promotion that has open slots and 35-pounders on the card, then I'm going to be like, all right, well, why can't I get out of my contract over here? Because I can at least fight over there. You know what I mean? So I don't really understand why people don't just go ahead and put it on their slots, and if you don't have a fight at 135 every 6 months, who cares? At least you have the weight class available, and then until you can start building, I just don't think it's going to happen overnight. But and then Bellator's got the 45-pound weight class ate up, and and you know, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
I just think that people just gotta start putting them in, and I think that a lot of the talent's really new on the Invicta side, like not new but young, and their records aren't huge and they aren't very deep just because of the game that UFC played in the whole deal of everything, you know, stealing all the talent. It's hard for you to keep fighters Shannon doesn't hold anybody back. If you want to go, she's going to let fighters go.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think she is more aware of the game and the struggle that the females have anyway, and how the sport works. And she's not trying to, you know, you're under my contract, so you're going to stay here. Well, if you want to go, you know, and a lot of those girls end up coming back. So I don't know. It's really weird to me, but I've offered to fight, you know, multiple weight classes. I've said I'd fight at 25. That's always when I'm really drunk when I say that. I also, you know, obviously I'll fight 35. I tell people I'll fight at 45. And I also tell people that I'll fight that girl at 155 if they pay me good.
Right.
You know what I mean? I am not a cherry picker, and I'm down to fight anybody, but you know, the opportunity's got to be there for me. I'm not trying to fight for 3 and 3.
Yeah. No weight discrimination, but mentioning the 3 and 3, have you been approached by any of these bare knuckle leagues?
Yes, they offer me cash money too.
Yeah, it seems like
I do like Masvidal's got that bare knuckle MMA, and he just had his first fight. I actually contacted him. I was like, oh, this is something I could do. I couldn't see. I mean, I would fight bare knuckle in a heartbeat if you're going to pay me, but you're talking about paying me some trash money, and I'm going to go in there and probably 99% guarantee I'm going to break my hands.
Yeah.
I'm going to train for this many months, and then I'm going to be fucked for this many months after while my hands heal. And how many fights do I have in my career left that I can just keep going in and breaking my damn hands? So you're going to have to pay me some money, especially if you're over there paying some of them girls $250,000 a fight. Get the hell off it. I will beat everyone on your roster for that kind of money, for way less than that kind of money.
But that's a good number.
You know, I got a hold of Masvidal's Game Bread one because I was like, this is something I can do, MMA. Like,
right.
That'd be fun. I don't get hit too much in MMA, so I could probably avoid some bare knuckles too. But I was like, I could do this. But they, you know, I know they're super new and they don't have, or they're not wanting to pay, you know, that much. And you know, I think that's what's going to keep them from competing with bare knuckle. And I think that they could be bigger than bare knuckle right off the bat if they would drop some money, because there's a lot of fighters that are fighting bare knuckle that are way better grapplers than they are stand-up guys, and they would totally go over there to his promotion. I think they would sweep the bare knuckle compartment or department right off, you know. So they would take over. But you know, if they don't want to pay that well, or they ain't got the money behind them yet to do so, I completely understand. And then they told me that, I think it was their matchmaker I talked to, told me that they were more of a building in a, you know, they were one of those stepping platforms for the UFC, and I'm like, what?
Come on, it's not.
Stop it. People are probably not over there bare knuckling, and then they're going to go to the UFC. I just don't think that. It's
been the other way around.
And I think that they could make a huge run. I think they could take over the bare knuckle if they did some big things. But you know, nobody knows what they're into and what they got in their wallet and what they're willing to do. So you know, whatever.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, I think that MMA just over boxing for me. Definitely, I prefer MMA over boxing. So, and it's just kind of funny the model. Maybe like, you know, some of them have done, like for example, Paige Van Zant and Rachel Ostovich, as you mentioned. You know, them for example, those two.
How much did Rachel? Have you heard how much Rachel got paid?
I believe
Paige is making either 2 or 250.
Was that million or 1,000? Because I heard very high.
200,000. I heard she got 5 fights at 200,000, so $1 million contract. And then I heard she was getting paid 250,000 a fight. Well, $250,000.
Yeah.
I'll fight your dad. I'll
You
fight
name
anybody's dad.
Fight my own dad.
I will. Way less.
I don't know what Rachel did, but what I was getting at though was like those two, they're not known for their striking. You know, we know why you brought them in, and it's just a little funny how that is. But with the Game Bread thing, it was interesting too to see that like most of those fights ended by submission too. So it's like, people are thinking, all right, you know, if we don't have to break our hands, like you're saying, I'll take it down and I'll choke you. So,
But I still would love to hit somebody bare knuckle. That'd
right.
be badass. The street fighting days.
Yeah, take you back a little bit.
Fuck yeah, man.
Uh,
I'd go bust my knuckles up a little bit, but you got to pay me some money because I
Right.
got to, I'm going to have the 2 months before, then the fight. Now I'm probably going to have at least 2 months after because I can't use my hands. Dude, you got to pay me a little bit of money.
yeah, help a girl out.
Yeah, come on, man. This is my career we're talking about.
Right. And I know you've never been a big, I don't know, MMA fan in terms of watching, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but do you still follow
Right.
fairly closely? Like maybe the women specifically, but you watch much?
Yeah, I watch my buddies fight, my training partners fight. And then, sometimes there'll be like a, girl fight that I'll watch, but not that often. I'd much rather watch the girls than guys. But then, obviously there's the big giant cards that everybody's like, ooh, this guy's fighting that guy and blah, blah, blah. And I just go because somebody else bought it.
Yeah. It's like, I'll go to the party.
Yeah, most of the time I never even watch the fight. My buddies come over and they're like, hey, blah, blah, is fighting right now. And I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit. Can you tell we're eating chips and salsa?
Yeah.
God dang, man.
You're interrupting the conversation. Get out of here.
Yeah. Who gives a shit about that fight? I came from the social atmosphere.
I've been there, done that,
Yeah. I'm just a competitor. I don't like watch sports.
Yeah. Did you end up seeing Misha's return though? Okay.
No.
Yeah. So she came back a couple weeks ago, and after she retired for 5 years and had 2 kids and everything, and looks better than ever. So it was it's really impressive. And I know that you guys never fought, which kind of surprising. Seemed like something that would have been cool to see. And it kind of brings me to like, is there anyone in your career, Tonya, that you wish you would have got to have fought in, but you never got to, at least yet?
I mean, I've offered to fight her a lot of times throughout my career, and along with many other people, and they didn't want to fight me at the time. And I get it, and everybody's trying to run their own path and get the highest goal they can get, highest step they can get. I get it, but I don't really give a shit who I fight as long as I'm getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I wish I had this fight and that fight and blah, blah, blah. And, I think the only fights that really hurt my feelings are the ones that I lost, and I would definitely take those fights again. But, those opportunities probably never come around, and try to, rectify those, try to get that win back, because that would be nice. But, I just take whatever opportunity is thrown at me, and I try not to hold on to too much of it. And,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it'll tear you down. So I just try to keep on moving forward.
Do you feel like you've left your mark in the sport?
Oh no, people don't know anything about me. So everybody just thinks I'm a piece of shit that came in and lost in UFC real easy. Guys bet against me because they win so much money. I'm like, shut up. I don't know. I don't really care about all that.
Mm-hmm.
I literally just think I'm a competitor for life. Like, I'll get some badass job, be making some great money, and they'll call me for a fight, and I'm like, my job, that is so amazing, and
I'm 60 now.
So yes, or a fight, and dang it, and I'll take that fight. I gotta quit my job. Because they're like, no, you cannot take the time off. I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna be looking for a new job after this fight's over.
Perfect. So not too concerned with how you want to be remembered. And that seems totally Tonya Evinger. You've never really cared anyway, right? So
yeah,
it's right.
Yeah.
Right.
It is what it is. I don't want to get my feelings hurt and try for something that ain't going to make a difference in the long run. I just feel like as long as I feel good about what I've done and this and that, then I'm fine with it, you know? So
that's all that really matters in the end. So
yeah.
Well said, bye. Oh, hey, you made it to the end. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. If you like this video and want to see more like it, give it a like and maybe subscribe if you haven't already. Until then, we'll see you next time.